get into some intel. Let's see where we stand today. Because, like I said, Tuesday night, even after the big call, I get more stuff. I get more information. And then there's Wednesday, and I get something on Wednesday. And then there's today, and we get a couple of things today. So it's just kind of working its way through. All right, let's get into what we heard as far as bondholders are to be getting notified by their emails either today or tomorrow, which is Thursday or Friday, and that should tell them in those emails when they'll have access to their funds. Now look, bondholders have been pushed just like we have. Tier 3 bondholders, and we're in Tier 4B is what I call it, the internet group, the largest group of real players in this thing. So they've been pushed, we've been pushed. There's supposedly a shotgun start, which means we would theoretically get notified at the same time. It's only a theory, because if those guys get notified, let's say today or tonight and tomorrow, then we should get notified similarly, but I have a timeline for that. So we know that bondholders have been flying in to Reno, and they have been handling the last of the vetting process of these people, and they've been able to sort through some, if you know what I mean, sort through, and some people are walking out happy, and some people are walking out not very happy because they're not genuine, they're not authentic, they're not who they said they were. Okay, I won't go into any more depth on that, but it is very good to know that they're there for the vetting process, and that's good, and they're being handled. And that's an ongoing basis, probably through the weekend. Because it started a couple of days ago, Wednesday, Thursday, and should be continuing until they're done with everybody they need to see. One moment, please. So, all right. This is the next thing. What we have is bondholders, and then we go next. Now, what we heard even yesterday, and it was echoed again today from a different source, what we're getting from the direct from redemption center leaders that are over, in this case, 8 redemption centers. He said that we could be notified for Tier 4B anytime between today, well, I'm going to say not today, it's too late, tomorrow, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and he included Monday, all the way up through the end of this month. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Now, of course, you guys know, I even mentioned this on the last call. I said, I get a little antsy when we get near the last day of the month, because I'm always curious as to whether we would start at the very end of the month or possibly start on the 1st of July, which would be Tuesday. And so I'm unsure about it right now, because I've also been told today that we could get notified over the weekend, which we'll throw Friday in just for a good measure, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe start Monday or Tuesday with exchanges I'm referring to. I told you guys Tuesday, when we get the numbers, we're over 50% there. As we call, we set our appointments, we're locked. We're locked and loaded. We've got an appointment for exchange. All we've got to do is not forget our currency, but get there, take a few other items with us that we know about, like your ID, picture ID, like your, you may or may not need this. It's a good idea to take if you have a power bill or a cell phone bill or a gas bill, something like that, electric bill, take a proof that shows your physical address. That's part of Know Your Customer. Take that with, and that way you'll have some proof. Okay, now they know who all of us are by the emails, by who we are when we bought currency through a bona fide dealer. Okay, even eBay and that type of thing. However, they may not have everybody's email. They may not have all of us, but they really want to know who the Zim holders are, because obviously it's the most valuable of the currencies, which is also a bond, a bearer bond, and it's going to be treated very, very specially. All right, so let's go back to the timing of this. So what else is going on? I've given you the rough idea of the timing. We could get something. Now, I've been told they might surprise us. We could get something early. I don't know about that. I'm going to say, if so, great. But more likely is probably getting notified on the last day of the month, which is June 30th, Monday, and then setting appointments for Tuesday, the 1st of July. All right. Now, here's the other thing about it. What about, I said to Jeannie tonight, Social Security increase? We had been told that it would be in June. It ain't going to be in June. It's not going to be in June. So we have to defer an increase in Social Security for those that are on it to start in July. Hopefully in the first week of July. What about R&R? Restitution Reconciliation Allowance. R&R is going to be there for us that have currency at the redemption centers. Notice I didn't say at the banks, at the redemption centers. We should have that. It should be in our quantum account, and they'll tell us that it's in there. It should be there already. So that's what we've been told. If for some reason something isn't mentioned, you mention it. You say, hey, what about reconciliation and restitution allowance? Whatever R&R stands for. Say, whatever. They'll say, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's this much, and it's one lump sum, and it's this much. Now, if you are not in the currencies, you would get it as a direct deposit into your bank account. If they don't have anything on a bank, see, they know our bank accounts by our Social Security numbers. But if they don't, if you don't have a bank account, then theoretically you'd get it as a check in the mail. So, but it'd be a pretty big check for a lot of people. The older you are, the higher it's going to be. The younger you are, the less it's going to be. All right, that's R&R Social Security. Now, what about Doge? I don't know, guys. We thought the Doge would be here in June. It's not. So it's deferred also to July, our Doge payments, whatever they're going to be. And some are supposed to be pretty large, really large. And then the RV itself, the actual exchanges and the redemption of Zim at the redemption centers, that's the mother load. That's based on what you have. That's going to be your biggest hit of all. So that's where we stand on those four different income streams, if you will, for us. Biggest, the RV, your Zim holder, by far and away the biggest, and then the other currencies fall into place. Now, as I mentioned on Tuesday's call, there were only 9 currencies on the Redemption Center screens on Tuesday. I don't have an update to know how many more could have been on screens today. I'm sure they're going to be populating and adding. Now, those last 9 Tuesday were solid rates, solid on the screen. Okay? Now, we'll see what else happens. What else is going on that I wanted to bring up to you tonight? I think the main thing that we have now is to see whether the notifications that we get come out over the weekend or whether they defer it until Monday. Anyway, whether it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, it's all good. And we're there. We're really where we needed to be. And yes, guys, this has been a long ride. It's not been an easy ride. And yet, in some ways, this should have been easier. But what I've tried to do is tell you what I'm hearing from very good sources. But guess what? A lot of the sources have not been correct. Or they've been correct for a period of time, and then it changed. And I was told a long time ago, Bruce, this is like a military operation. Things can change at any moment. And I think that's true. I do believe that's true. And certainly I've seen changes happen. But we know that this is going on. This is happening. It is ready to start. I don't think we're going to see Nesara or Gesara brought out until July. And it might be July 4th. It could be sooner. But here's another thing we got. As of 7:30 p.m. tonight, all countries are on asset-backed currencies as of tonight. Well, 7:30 passed a long time ago on the big call, didn't it? unless you're out west on the Pacific Coast or in Hawaii. That was 7:30 Eastern, and the big call starts, as you guys know, at 9 o'clock Eastern. So an hour and a half before our call started tonight, all countries were on their new asset-backed currencies. For us, it's the USN. And here's another thing. The USTN, which is the United States Treasury note, is the physical money, the folding money, our new printed currency that they delivered today. Again, this is the third major delivery they've made to the banks and to redemption centers in $500 packets that are paper banded around them, just like in the old days. Paper bands around them, $500. Don't know which denominations that includes, but it could include several denominations of our new money. And they delivered $150,000 to each bank and redemption center today. So banks have it, redemptions have it, waiting for us to go in. They've kind of requested that we take no more than maybe $3,000 to $5,000 in cash. They just don't want us to have a problem with having too much cash in our pocket or in our briefcase or whatever you're taking into the redemption center. They just don't want us to get mugged somehow. So don't take too much. You can always get more currency later. But if you want to take some, they're in $500 packets. Okay? So that's what I wanted to bring in terms of that intel. So they brought it out today because we're close. They brought it in because, Lord willing, we are right there. And I do not know, and I don't believe there's a connection to what I call the big, bad, beautiful bill. This new bill that made its way through the Senate, or made it through the House, rather, needs to get finalized in the Senate. And President Trump has told the senators, nobody goes home until this bill is complete and passed. Because he wants it on his desk by or before the 4th of July. 4th of July this year should be big for us. It should include some Nesara-type announcements. You know, we know we've got the USN because they're going to it tonight officially all over the globe. And there was one other piece, too, that I wanted to bring out about the Starlink and the QFS system. Sort of evading me right now. I'm thinking about Topo Chico water, I guess. But it's basically, and if I think of it before the end of the call, I'll let you guys know. But it's a good thing. It's one other connection that was finalizing now between QFS and the Starlink satellite system. I think I'll tell you. But in the